Hi everyone, Timothy Dunn here. Just wanted to dive right into law number 10 of the 48 Laws of Power that are written by Mr. Robert Greene. Now, law number 10 says, infection, avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. Now, this is going to take a little bit of explaining, so let's dive right in here. You can die from someone else's misery. Emotional states are as infectious as diseases. You may feel that you are helping the drowning man, but you are only precipitating your own disaster. It says to associate with the happy and the fortunate instead. Now, this is a very tough one, just simply because part of the root of getting ahead and moving around in corporate America means that you want to give as much as yourself as you can without giving up your power. But you have to discern who we're going to associate with and who exactly we're going to provide that assistance to. Now, everybody knows somebody that's a train wreck in your personal life or in your business life, somebody that always has bad stuff happen to them. They come in almost every single day with a story about how they've been victimized or something happened or there was a series of events, and it really takes up a lot of our time and attention and eventually a lot of our power. But the chapter is talking about really the danger that is involved in associating with people that are like that too often, because eventually their kind of funk or their karma rubs off on us, and if we're likened to them too many times, eventually we get put in that category as well. So as much as we want to help the people that are not fortunate, and it doesn't say anything about really helping those that deserve it, because it's something that we want to continue to do, but you really got to look out for that individual in your life that just has everything climactically happening to them. And it says to be very, very cautious, even if they're drowning, even if it's a situation where it's almost life and death, and you know that you should step in. Consider the history of the individual. Is helping them really the best thing? Maybe letting them hit the bottom is the best thing. But what about ourselves? How does that impact us? If we continually to help someone, then obviously we're an enabler, and anybody that's watching to take away our power sees that and will exploit that at some point. It says here in the chapter, when you suspect that you are in the presence of an infector. That's pretty harsh language, but we'll get to that. Don't argue, don't try to help, don't pass the person on to your friends, or you will become enmeshed in their problems. Flee the infector's presence or suffer the consequences. Now, this takes a very staunch approach, and a lot of times we don't learn until we've been taken advantage of or until we've been burned personally. But this chapter talks about how if we are going to accumulate or at least not give away our power, we can't be susceptible to these people. And I bet in this chapter you're going to find one or two people that resonate with this, either in your personal life or in your professional life. Now, it tells us that the reason that we have to have distance from these individuals is that humans are extremely susceptible to moods, emotions, and even the ways of thinking of those with whom they spend their time. Our grandparents told us about this. It's you become like the people that you surround yourself with. So even if you are trying to offer assistance, the more time that you spend around these people that have total chaos in their lives, the more you're going to pick up on some of their traits. And that's a dangerous thing, especially if you're one day wanting to accumulate more power than you have today. Another great point in this chapter, it talks about if we ourselves are starting to slip into this type of funk, it says associate with the generous, and they will infect you, opening up everything that is tight and restricted in you. If you're gloomy, gravitate to the cheerful. If you're prone to isolation, force yourself to befriend the gregarious. Never associate with those who share your defects. They will reinforce everything that holds you back. Now, that's tremendous wisdom there. And that's something that I'm practicing myself, but it's also really good understanding that, that gut feeling that we've had about those individuals that have so many problems, it's probably correct. Not that you don't want to be cordial, and not that you don't want to be friendly, but again, associating with those folks too often and too much can bring you down as an individual. And then you turn right around and you look for those characteristics in those people at work or outside of work that you really want to add to your life. So if they're extremely popular, if they're incurably happy, if they are successful, you definitely want to be around them to try to gravitate and have some of their characteristics rub off on you. Now, if you're spurned by those individuals, maybe it's because they're practicing this law and you're exhibiting some of the traits that they don't see as being attractive. So that's something to consider as well. Pretty heavy stuff, but I want to thank you for going through this chapter. We're going to dive right into chapter number 11 here right away. And again, as always, I want to thank you for going through this journey with me.